Hey, everybody, Yogi. So, bear with me here as I am actually a little tired right now because I just recently attended a retirement party from my dad's celebration and ceremony and celebrating for his 40 years of service in the federal service. Um, Best blessings to you for that, for your many years of service, and for those you have really touched across the federal sector in the Department of Commerce division. So, in doing so, I've really been able to reflectively think about just the memories, just the bonding moments, the very bonding ideas that we can really still come up with as people having to, stay in that realm of basically the very understandings of why it's very important. So one of my writings that I've actually started expanding on is the controlling, or would you want to define it as keeping, preserving, and protecting the freedoms of our civil liberties. The very many freedoms of our civil liberties that in this country, America, the greatest country that we live in the world, but yes, unfortunately, faltered in the very many experiences that we've come across, in the very many transitions and phases that we are very also, at the same time, can I just say, brainwashed to a certain point. The brainwashing mechanism to a certain point in our very preconditioned notices that we're brought up with. I share this moment to discuss and to help us all understand, not of myself as a person, but also as everyone else who are still looking for that one best moment to solve the drudgery of our own problems. And in doing so, fighting for our freedom and not giving up our civil liberties. The very protecting the preservations of our civil liberties, the freedom of speech, yes, the freedom of religion, the freedom of the opportunity to own your own land, own your space, to own your life. One of my writings I came up with is, yes, as I've explained it myself, is really the falters of our societal problems. And in doing so, I've discussed in this letter here, this is very brief in the synopsis. I really haven't been able to put it on a full written format, but which I hope it turns out into a book that I will publish very soon, within the next few months. So here I go. I'll read this over here, and bear with me and indulge me for a couple of minutes. 1 of by land, 2 of by sea and air. By the land we must be fully ready, as by sea and air. Be ready and alert as well. To our nation and countries abroad, put on the full armor of God. Our complacency shall not allow us to alter ourselves to submission of control by world government. We have to want, need, and also as ensured by the enshrinement of our U.S. Constitution. Our world asks us to submit and be complacent. Our answer shall be, and with strong and bold statement, no, no, no. A world government will scare us to the core of our bones, and to all who strive to earn freedom in every aspect of life's most precious needs, wants, and goals. It is a violation of our human dignity and decency that we exhaust, release, cherish, and above all, strive for compassion and love one another. And again, I go back to that preservation, the protecting of our freedom and civil liberties, folks. The very things that our polarized societal government is doing. And again, I can go back to very many definitions of what we studied about in the modern history courses, going back to the letter here as if it's a rough draft. Socialism, totalitarianism, regionalization of population and civil liberties will scare and slow down production of business and entrepreneur minds, engineers, and product manufacturing institutions, higher education, Nobel Prize writers, invention and innovation of our today's expanding modern world. Fear of the unknown is what can allow us always be in momentum and by moving every day beyond our leisure and activities, smiling moments and down occasions. Look into the minds of those who succeeded: Albert Einstein, Franklin Roosevelt, John F. Kennedy, Walt Disney, John D. Rockefeller, Trump, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Billy Graham, Steve Jobs. And the continuation goes on to many successors more. This is the end of my rough ladder here, the rough draft letter here, as I've expanded and gone my efforts to basically explain the synopsis of our, and again, the very preservations, the very moments that we want to protect ourselves with, the very things that we really actually, yes, want to be able to talk about it, but then again, we take granted for what we're given. You know, as many people who have grown up on domestic areas of the country, but as many of those who are born overseas and have transitioned themselves over to become the citizens of that nation, the citizens of within any nation as well, of course, but in the very country that we live in today, America, the beautiful, America, the great. But yes, we can still unfalter the complications in the system, such as getting rid of the unwanted regulations that, of course, disrupt the very minds of entrepreneurs, the business people that want to bring the business to the people in the very many communities, the very many things that, yes, can make prosper and richer communities, to be able to have more money in people's pockets, the ability to spend more, to bring more talent and skills, and not by the distractions of regulations and stipulations. And again, folks, as it's not really evaluated in this letter, but it's not elaborated in my writings, what I've mentioned, my brief basic summary of this writing is the focus really is to preserve our right to speak, protect our right to keep our freedom, protect our right to have our own property that we buy. Keep smiling every day to share the most precious moments, the very basic needs to keep that civil liberties, to not really take for granted what you're given. That is all I have, as this is very short and brief. And again, thank you for taking this time to listen and your further understandings in this video and what I've really patched on and focused on. Take those points, take those key points, and to guide it towards you by the ideas of I've mentioned before. And really also take a look into having a role model, your admirations, having the role models in your admirations, the very things that we really want to be able to talk about, but we really keep it on the inside, more so than having to basically talk to someone honestly about it. Be open and honest about your dreams, folks. Be open and honest about your ambitions, your life's most success, what you want to be able to succeed with down the road. Then not have to really depend fully on what the system's going to do for you. It's time we take for the preservations of our own lives, what we can more provide ourselves with, whether it's better income, better creation and innovation in running our own talents. Not running our own talents, but also using our talents and creating the talents that we have and putting it into business, putting it into the profit margin increases, in creating partnerships, in creating that absolute established domain. And going so with the role models. You take a look at some of the role models that we can really have. And this is an example that I have right here that I've written down on just a printed paper. Take a look at it for yourself, as it is written down backwards here for you to see. But these are one of my examples of role models that I've listed myself. And of course, you can come up with your own things that we can have, your own things that we can really actually be more brainstorming about it. Have the brainstorming ideas. Yes, this is going to be hard. This is going to be challenging, but, and again, such as, of course, one of the challenging things that I'm currently doing right now as a person is being able to, of course, be in front of the camera. Nobody likes to be in front of the cameras. It sucks being in front of the cameras at times because you feel like you're being put on the spot. But folks, it's time to get uncomfortable. It's time to find out what you're really made of, what we're actually more capable of as people. To be exciting, to be adventurous, you got to get uncomfortable. You got to get out there and be known. Yes, in times you want to stay away and stay on the low profile status, and I don't blame for those who want to do that, but for those that choose that, they want to be in that low profile status. But in doing so, if you have a good record, if you have a positive mind, get out there. Get out there and encourage everybody. Influence them. One of the very many things that I am doing myself is to really influence people, to really inspire them. Inspire them through my testimonies, through my lessons and activities, and the transitions that I've gone through. Then, of course, whether experienced or not, but it's through with life that we have really experienced ourselves. It's through with life that we really actually go through and endure with the pains, the struggles. Why are our own people struggling? Is it because of the complications in the healthcare system that we have been so brainwashed with, and of course being fed with lies after lies because of the very many false treatments that patients are being given, or the very many long hours that we've put onto with our jobs, which of course created more health problems in the employees that have really fought their blood and sweat and tears to earn what they wanted. But hey, everybody, hear me out on this one, but there's more to do with that now. There's more to be creative about, working more smarter, working less for the money you earn, where you can relax more. And again, I'm not going to go further into details about telling you about clicking this link on how to do it. Look at it for yourself. Take a look into the very successors and icons. Jeff Bezos, Amazon. Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, the investor, the very many successors out there too. And for us YouTubers, dive into those successors. To dive into as to, yes, and unfortunately, why most of us have to be fake every day. Why we have to fake ourselves every day. Can we endure with our pain? Can we learn to cope with our pain? Well, yes, we can, because we're human beings. By human nature, we cope with the pain. We cope and endure with the problems that we have, and we come across and all around the world. But and again, we're then distracted and being manipulated, and of course getting delusional about our own ideas and the quick fix instant gratification tactics, because we're being asked to stay fake where we should not be fake. We should not be dumbed down to the dumbed down mentality society, because at one point we're going to be victimized and put into as slaves. We don't want to be slaves. We want to be people as righteous as Jesus Christ was, as righteous and outstanding as the very many 1% successors do today. The very many things they do today, but yes, can't contribute to the needs of the society. Yes, of course, our differences in opinions get us by through jealousy because of what they've gotten, but also what about the ideas of optimism and having to emulate and open your minds about them, what they're doing, open your minds about what they have really done to succeed and go through the obstacles and many trial by errors that they've done. And again, so in the summary of what I've discussed in the letter, as of course, goes back to the very many things that we can really preserve ourselves through the civil liberties of our needed in most quality moments. And again, the very things that I've discussed going on beyond with our talents, our capabilities, our submission to a one world government that I mentioned in the rough draft letter I typed up is not going to give us that capability. That's only going to stipulate us. That's only going to restrict us from our own best doings. So it is up to us to preserve that. It is up to us to really actually stay uncomfortable, stay bold, and acted upon the polarized society influencers. So stay good out there, be great, and smile.